Time to finish off this fine C5. Let's crack on. Hello and welcome to another MrBetaByte video, and this one's a little bit different insofar as I'm hoping we can finish off this C5. In part one we sorted the servo issues out. I found I actually played pretty well with the old belts, but they do need doing, so let's crack on with those. And we also got colour in pause and picture search, which was actually a really simple thing to do in the end, simple thing to achieve. So take a look at that if you want to know how to do that. That's part one. Yeah, let's drop down the top board. Well, drop down the bottom board even, and do these belts. So it's one very obvious easy one, and then we've got the joys of this one. So, and then we've got the capstan belt as well, which we have to remove this pass to get to. So yeah, let's have a look what we've actually got in the belt kit. Some Star components, not sponsored or anything. I just use them because, well, they're good. I've not had any problems. I've used them a lot, and they've always been very good quality belts and do the job well. So you also get the idler tyres. So take up, and then various idler tyres. We've also got a pinch roller, so we'll see how we get on with that, because it can be a little bit interesting sometimes on some decks. So let's start off with that belt. And it has gone quite white. Quite interesting how that's gone, really. So should really just clean as I go as well. There we go. And then you can see some residue in there, actually. Some belt residue, so that belt has been well worked. Yeah, it's pretty mucky. Super, slightly crossed. Still slightly crossed. It probably would sort itself out, but it's looking good. Then capstan. It's quite a tight screw, that. And then we need to get this out and remove. There's two ways you can do this, actually, and I think yeah, I'm just going to take the whole lot off, I think. Go for the E-clip and just lift this out. It's actually pretty clean, to be fair. So it's pretty tired, to be fair. I do actually have two flat belts in this. this kit, and they both seem to be the same. I'm not too sure. Have they accidentally duplicated? I don't know. Duplicated those two belts. It's running well. And there is some grease in the bottom of that, which I should really change. So I'll do that. Just clean that out. And I'll put a little bit of graphite grease in there, I think. Yeah, I'll just clean that gear up as well. Might put a little bit of lube in that as well, so yeah. Okay, so that's absolutely lovely now. Just put the tiniest drop of rocket just in the end there, and it's perfect. Really, literally the tiniest drop. And then graphite grease in there. Again, only need a little bit just in the bottom, just to stop it from, well, just give it a little bit of lubrication as the capstan sort of rests in the cup and gravity does its thing. Now we'll put this back on. So because I took the whole assembly off, there's no adjustment. This goes through the deck. Into that assembly. What was quite doing there. I was so worried about getting it on here, I wasn't looking where that bit was going. Super, so that's on. There's a little bits of dried grease in there. There we go. Okay, so that's pretty much it for underneath. We've got to get this belt out. I mean, obviously we've got to put the new belt on there. Yeah, everything else then is up top. So let's feed that in through just as I can. And yeah, let's move to the top. I'll try it at this angle. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see some of this, but anyway, I'll do my best. So taking off the plastic cover. And that'll be cleaned. And then the slackening off the lacing ring. And then I'm going to take off this gear. So that was actually a bit tricky to get off. So yeah, and you probably didn't see a huge amount of that, but yeah, it's just getting the right size. Fine, just getting the right size flat blade screwdriver bits. You can space open. This is a 3.5 mil, so yeah, and that seemed to do the job. I seem to remember I had to remove this as well. Just to give me enough space to, or not remove it, but at least slacken it off. So I can lift this out of the way. So that's the gear off. And then I can get to the belt for that's the eject. And then get this one out. So yeah, that is actually quite quite deformed. It's amazing that's working, I have to say. Again, that's a bit noisy, so I'm just going to put a tiny bit of that might be enough. No, I suppose it's got a fair way to run. I don't mind putting a little bit extra in there. That's it, that's got it. Let's take off that little bit of excess. Okay, so I'll drop this belt down and in. And I'm not going to be able to show this, but I'm just going to pull it through because the panel isn't actually screwed in. So hopefully you can see that. Next thing to do is take out the top loading system. And there's a little, underneath the spring, there's a little plastic eject. This off. So I should be able to maneuver the belt out. There's actually a pulley under there and it's quite stiff. So I'm going to try and lubricate that without contaminating anything. We have actually got an idler tyre for this as well, which is also sounding decidedly dry. So I can get that off. I'll probably have to. No, very dry rubber. It's amazing it's working, really. So that'll be that, but I'll lubricate it, see if I can do it without spilling too much. And then tiny bit in there as well. So off just on the top there. There's a little bit sat in there, but that's not going to cause any problem. That's a lot better. Yeah, that one's still, it's like it's almost like an idler it's just directing the belt, sort of diverting it away from other bits and pieces, so it doesn't actually do anything, but I just like it to be a bit more free running, which it sort of is. It's getting there. It'll improve with use. I just don't want it to get contaminated, because it's a bit awkward to get to, and if it's contaminated, it's going to be a little bit, it's easy enough to clean, I suppose, but yeah. So a bit of an awkward angle, but I think you can just about see. Hopefully I won't knock the camera over doing this. Oops. Oh, that didn't go well, did it? I'm not terribly worried about crossing this belt, because it will sort itself out. It's not like it does anything critical other than just drive the spool. Got that caught somewhere. There we go. I don't actually want to put that on yet, because I've got to get the tyre on. Just hook it around there for a second. What did we say? It's that one, isn't it? Sometimes I've got to take these out because they can be a bit of a fiddle to get on, but usually the rubber's just got enough flexibility to get them on without causing any issues. So, like, this one is going on fine. Lovely. Let's take off some of the twisting of the belt that I've given it, and then root the belt, and there we go, the twist has come out. Super. Got this belt here for the counter. Can be a bit interesting to get on. Do they give you the counter belt? Yes, they do. So there it is. Actually, do they? They don't. They don't give you the counter belt. So, because this is the belt I've just taken off, I'm almost tempted to use that belt, because that belt's it's a bit shorter. It's a bit longer, rather. So, okay, so I'm going to have to find that belt. I will have one somewhere. It doesn't have to be anything particularly special, because it's just running the running the counter. So take that off. In fact, what I might do is just lift the whole spool while I'm in there, and just see what it's like. I might not do the rewind one, but this is a good one to try. Just being a bit careful, because there are the washers that are under here. Yeah, the washers under here are actually a preset height, so don't lose them. And yeah, so they're not too bad. Got the little ball bearings, captive ball bearings there. So Let's clean this all up. It'll make it very sweet running then. So I'll just put a bit of rocket on a cloth and just sort of clean it up with it, but there's also putting a little bit of lube on there as well. And I do need to clean up that idler. This one could be quite difficult to get off because it's so small. Yeah, that is well and truly had it. There's actually a crack in the plastic. I mean, you probably can't see that, but there is. Maybe if I move that out of the way. A crack in the plastic is there. So might as well do this belt while we're at it. And take off this idler tyre as well. I'll give that a clean. Slightly crossed, but it should be fine. There we go. And then the fun idler. And then this one, which can be a bit of a fiddle because it's quite springy. This is the one I usually do take off. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take it off because it's sort of fighting against the springiness to try and get the tyre on. So just take it off. Okay, so I've cleaned it. I actually turned it over so it's sort of whiter. And I've put a tiny bit of lubrication in there. That runs nicely. Yeah, you can turn that pulley over and it's absolutely fine. This can be a little bit fiddly to put on sometimes. That actually was fairly painless. Excellent. So let's get the spool back together. So just put a tiny bit of lube on each of these bits. And then we can put the tyre on to the spool, give the spool a clean. Okay, so spool tyre. Okay, I'll drop that back down. And there's a brake as well. Oh, in fact, it wasn't quite going down. Nope. There we go. Wasn't quite aligned up correctly. So put the screw back in. So, I don't know what to do about this counterbelt. Do I just put the old one back on? Because it's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. And all it's doing is driving the counter. And at the end of the day, if it breaks, it breaks. Yeah, so we are about ready to go with everything. We can get this back together. I will just clean all this up while I'm in there. And I need to do something about this as well because it's sort of gone a bit funny. So I'll just rub some silicone grease around that and then polish it off, and that should hopefully make it a bit better. So yeah, let's crack on. Okay, so I've given it a quick clean. Just got the worst of it off. So let's get this back together. Again, I've put a little bit of lubrication on the center of this gear, just outside of the machine. So that should make it nice and flexible. I don't know what I did with the clip. Yes, I do. So these little plastic clips are a bit of a pain. So yeah. There we go. Couldn't see any of that, could you? Anyway, so let's pull this back so we can drop this in. So, yeah, just tension that up. Don't want it too tight. I think it's 0.8 mil is the clearance, or the free movement, which is probably a little bit on the tight side, but we'll see. I think we'll be all right with that. If it labours, we know why. So tighten that screw up there for that. It's feeling pretty good. Then we can tighten this screw up here. Like I say, you could take this right out if you wanted to, but I don't. And then a little plastic cover, which I have cleaned. Okay, so that should be properly running. Like I say, I will give this a proper clean, well, at the fullness of time. That should be all okay. If I did want to take the spool off, I'm not going to worry about it, to be honest. You can unclip, because obviously you've got the back tension, and if you haven't got a back tension cassette, which I have, but what I tend to do is, and we'll check the back tension, is just unclip it. You can unclip this from back here and free it off enough, just lift it out, or move it out the way, undo the screw, and you can lift this up. So you did do a modification for this as well, because this is actually a solid textured plastic surface that this goes against, and they were notoriously unreliable. So they actually made a modification kit that basically it was one of these spools, types of spools, with a rubber tyre. But I tend to find if you do sort of clean it all up and do a decent enough job, it is actually okay. So I'm going to put a tiny bit of lubrication down this one, which will just slowly go down and just go into the bearings there. That'll be enough for that. I need to give this a good clean. Then just need to put the top loading system back on. I'll give that a clean. I won't show doing all of that, but yeah, just get it back together because a lot of it's just going to be cleaning now. So I'll get and do that, and then we'll look at the clock. Let's crack on. Okay, so I have just cleaned the deck as well, and I've turned the two guides round. So this one you can actually grab onto the top bit, the bit that doesn't come into contact with the tape. Just turned it round so we've got a non-shiny surface. Just helps the tape a little bit. I know we've still got this one which you can't adjust without actually knocking out alignment, and obviously the ones on the Ace assembly, but you know, it's two more that have good sort of lubrication then for the tape. It just helps the tape move easier through the tape path. So that's done. Heads were absolutely filthy, really very dirty, and one of the head chips actually had a huge black build up above the actual head chip, so that's going to make a huge difference. I've also cleaned the capstan, which I usually do. I usually take the capstan out on these and clean it properly that way. I forgot to do that, but that's fine. It wasn't too bad, to be fair, but there was a line of tape residue, so that's come off quite nicely. That's the residue on there. I will demagnetize the head, and yeah, then I'll get the top loading system back on, and we can crack on with that timer. Well, I couldn't put that old belt back in, so I'm going to try and take it out. As you can see, I've put the top loading system back on, but I'm going to try and change the belt probably how it should actually be changed. So let's get that out. This is caught. There we go. I mean, it isn't bad, but I just can't, you know, I just can't. I can't leave an old belt in there. So I've actually got, it's a tiny bit tighter, but I've managed to find a good belt. This is from Toshiba V5470 belt kit. So yeah, that's ideal. I actually bought a whole load of them when they were going cheap on eBay a little while back. And they are new old stock, but we should be good. This is going to be quite difficult with the top loading system on. So let's take it off, because I'm going to spend longer trying to get the belt through, negotiating the top loading system, than I'm going to spend taking this off. So, and alignment's really easy. I'll show you that in a second. Oh, there we go. Right, so let's feed the belt through the gap. And there we go, that is fitted. It's really difficult to show, but basically one part of the belt goes around this pulley. I don't think you can really see the other pulley. Yeah, so there's one pulley, and it's just about make out the other one there. This part of the belt goes around there. So yeah, it's a fiddle, that's for sure, but that's good. That is a new belt. It's a bit twisted. Let's make it so it's a little bit more. as it should be. There we go, that's actually gone. And it's still in its pulleys. So that's great. So let's put the top loading system back on. I will say this machine is so clean. There's a tiny bit of like dust bloom on it and that's it, which is amazing. So let's put screws back in, then we'll just line it up. Dead easy to line up, but you do need to line it up. Okay, so just put it down and just move it. I might have the screws a little bit tight. Yeah, just a tiny bit. And still a bit tight. So just making sure that's parallel there, so it's not distorted, and then perfect gap all the way around each spool. It's difficult to film actually because it will always look a little bit weird, but that is about perfect, just so the cassette sits properly. Move that over just a fraction. That's it. Lovely. And then let's get this back on. Let's give it a quick clean. Not there's much to actually clean. It's just, like I say, it's literally a bit of bloom, and that's it. So clean. Okay, so little locating lugs need to go into chassis parts. I've got grounding there. This routes around the bottom of this screw retainer and back up here and around the plastic post to go back into there. Don't worry too much about doing it this very minute. Oh, there we go, I've done it. They do just sit behind there. It's a little bit untidy actually. So I would have thought it'd be nice to get those underneath, but I'm sure they had their reasons for tucking them there, like they did. It's probably so you don't have to take the front panel off if you need to take those wires out for the for wherever they go, which I'm guessing is a tuning unit. Okay, so plug these in. There's like a crooked LED there, which looks as if it's actually crooked from the factory. It's just pointing slightly that way, because it's actually soldered in slightly crooked, interestingly. Not that it really matters, but then put the little dust cap on. So that's it. So we now have a working counter with a decent belt on. Do the pinch roller next, and just look at the angle that's at. Runs something like that. See if I can remember that. Let's pull the top off. Yeah, Yeah, so there's a fair amount of wear on that. So I suppose let's see what this modern replacement is like. So that should just drop on, I think. And then put the cap back on. Yeah, it seems to revolve okay. And get it somewhere near where it was. Super, so that's on. Yeah, I'll probably just keep hold of that just for now. We'll see how it performs, that new one. I was a little bit skeptical of the new ones, but like I said, that the couple I've changed from the Star kit seem to be really good. So, next thing is timer buttons. So let's just unplug all these. Oh gosh, that was tough. I managed to pop the cable tidy by mistake. That's fine. And then screw underneath. It's just hiding underneath that one ribbon. What I like about the C5 over the C7, it doesn't have a backup battery, so the clocks last much better. Yeah, when the batteries go, they just rot everything. And I think we've got a grounding wire there. So slacken that off. Remove that. And this should. Let's put it forward, give it a bit of a jiggle. Oh, there's both of them. Both of them are used. There we go. Okay. So that's out. Again, very tidy. And just see a few bits of dust, and that's it, which I'll clean off. Plastic's really good there. For a transformer. It's very impressive. Okay, so let's take the top off this. It's being a little bit, there we go, tricky. So yeah, buttons. And just going to take these off because they're going to get in the way. Yeah, so every single button is bad. Okay, so the plan is to what I used to do is just use very long throw switches, tactile switches, but I've found that they're quite difficult to get across, and you stretch the legs and all the rest of it. So what I've been doing is just cutting off the top of these and then mounting a short throw switch on instead, and I think I've got the right ones here. So they just mount on there, and I can't quite see there, but as it stands, you can see the button is a bit prouder than the actual top of the white, the original button. But that's the idea. I might have to use some shallower buttons, to be fair, but I'll see. I'll do a test, take one off, so the panel comes out like so, it lifts up, and then you can desolder the buttons. I'll use my desolder gun for those, and we can try one. So the first switch is in place, and that actually feels pretty good, to be fair. So it's one of these, two stuck together there, 6x6 by 4.3, so 4.3 depth, 6x6, and just straddle it over the top and wind some fine wire around the leg, and job is a good one. So top's back on, and they all seem to work fine. I did change the method I was using. I was sort of, just for the mechanical strength, I was wrapping the copper around the leg of the switch that I was putting on the top, and I just found it just made it a little bit too bulky, so I ended up doing sort of lap joints, which mechanically aren't as strong, but to be honest, the joint's going to be stronger than the wire itself. It's actually quite fine, so I'm happy to do that. It worked much better. They're quite close, so I was just worried about them sort of potentially touching, sort of shorting across, but they all seem okay. So, and then this one's the one that's on the micro switch, and then the clock set one. Actually, the clock set one was the one I was most concerned about, because it hadn't gone down very well with the glue, hadn't glued very well. But yeah, they just sort of shaved a little bit off it, to be honest, and it's absolutely fine. Actually feels quite good. So yeah, I will put this back in, and probably have a tiny bit of a clean around as well, but it's so clean, this machine. And then we'll give it a try. Let's crack on. Okay, so I've put the screws in the bottom board, not put the base on yet, and I've put the front back on. So we're all good to go. Well, I hope so anyway. So let's apply some power. So far so good. Can I set the clock? The tens of minutes don't seem to work. I don't know why that is. Oh, it's probably, yeah, it's annoying. It's probably the copper has gone onto the glue. So the glued portion of the switch. So it's not actually making a contact, which is really annoying, but hey ho, I can sort that. That's easy enough. Otherwise that seems okay. 2, 3, 4, 5. I was a bit worried about these actually, but they seem fine, because a couple of them were a bit close on the legs, but yeah, that's fine. I always thought it did the top one then the bottom one, but maybe it doesn't. Okay, well, let's turn it on. So far so good. So let's put a cassette in. Ooh, that was smooth. Yeah, it's a little bit noisier, but it's good. Lovely. So no, this is the black and white bits. I actually I recorded after I'd done the modification. It's a little bit of a rock there from the heads. But that is not bad. So picture search, black and white. Well, not anymore. So let's just wind it on. In fact, let's stop it and just test fast forward and rewind. So let's... Bit of labouring there. That's fine. Yeah, that's okay. I'm just wondering why it is labouring down. But I'll test that. I'm not going to wait for the whole cassette to rewind. So I've demagnetized the ace head as well. But I mean, that's great. That's really, really good. Let's try the pause. That's not bad, is it? And then let's try the tracking. So furthest left, and then furthest right. Should probably cut in a bit. There we go. So that's really good. I'm really pleased with that. So what I'll do now is I'll run it for a while. I do wonder if those bearings are still a little bit dodgy on the heads. I need to test that rewind as well, because that does seem to be labouring a little bit. But again, that could be just down to using it. This machine has not seen much use. These are original. The reason I say that is because they do actually have, some of them have the whites. So you can see there the little white mark on them. And yeah, it's really very impressive that those are original belts and idlers and a pinch roller as well. So that's hardened. It's not bad, but it's hardened. So I might keep that as just like a test pinch roller, because it's not too bad. And it probably could be rejuvenated, to be honest, but this machine deserves a new pinch roller as well as everything else. And it's great. I mean, I'm so pleased with how this has come out. So I'm going to leave it there. We're all good to go. I do need to sort that button out. What a wonderful machine, and really working so well. That flickering, by the way, that's just the camera picking that up. It looks absolutely amazingly bright and nice and working well. So yeah, really pleased with that. What a great machine. And I haven't even cleaned it yet. As you can see some marks on it. I don't know where, it's like it's been wiped over or something, but not very well. It's sort of spread muck about. But yeah, really pleased with that. So with that, thank you very much for watching, and like and subscribe would be great as well. We're just coming up to 3,000 subscribers at the moment, so that's really cool. And hopefully I'll see you in another video. Bye for now.